Before me is Country with Trav in the morning. Then you got me, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Then you got the Stinky Arts Music Mart mixtape. And then Artemis Blood Shrine. Just Thursday, but don't forget Friday and the other days. Again, welcome, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. We're talking about cannabis, the benefits of cannabis news in general, and just anything probably wacky. If it's a wacky story and I heard about it and I think you guys are going to, trip out, I'll probably tell you. So again, 420, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit. I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue, 10 a.m. We do a recovery class. If you got the monkey off your back, but you can still feel the little banana eater pulling on your pant leg, check us out. 11 a.m. worship. Black Cottage Alchemy sponsors this show. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy. 1,200 MIGs, locally grown hemp. CBD whipped up into a bunch of stuff all whipped up. Does your body right. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show. Now, I need to say this, and so I'm gonna, you're listening to Radio Free Fargo, 95.9 KRFFLP FM. Business owners, are you a manager and nonprofit organizations considering advertising? Why not learn what underwriting is on a nonprofit community radio station instead? To learn more about what underwriting is, please contact us at our website, www.radiofreefargo.org, or at our profile on Facebook. Why not let listeners know that you support the community by supporting a community radio station like a 95.9? And that's well said. To whoever just said that was me. So well said, me. Thank you, me. Anyway, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson's off to a blazing start here. Again, cannabis, I don't know what'll happen this year. There's certainly stuff happening. And so as long as I'm doing, I guess, this show about that, I will keep you apprised as we move forward. I don't know what the first story we'll talk about, but this weather, hold on to your toupees, my friends, because it's going to get cold, which is kind of funny because we're complaining about it being cold now, but this is like something we would be bragging about last year, so I guess we're on the way down. So anyway, it is what it is. I hope everybody had a whatever they have on New Year's. I don't really value it much. I had a little snack, little breakfast brunch buffet snack with the kid for brunch. And that, and I thought about wearing like a little hat, I made a horn out of a noodle. Just kidding, I never did. But anyway, again, it's great to be in the studio, broadcasting my beautiful voice everywhere. You have the internet, radiofreefargo.org. You can find out a little bit about what I know about, this week in cannabis. South Dakota, we're going to talk about it. So there you go. That's all I got. Kentucky's got kind of an interesting thing happening. We'll talk about that. I've got new music, like I like to do it, and so maybe that's what we'll do right now. So hold on to your hats. Here comes some hip-hop, jazzity jazz, run, run, run. It's brand new McKinley Dunn, Dixon. Whoa, running from the guns. I'm not so sure. I should have listened to that a little bit, I think, before I played it. My bad. I don't know. I think I may think some, I don't know, it seemed like some words that weren't great were in there. So, my bad. McKinley Dixon, running from the guns on KRFF 95.9, radiofreefargo.org. Streaming everywhere you are. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. That's me. I'm a Wilson. And we're going to talk about cannabis and such. 420, we're going to open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Stay tuned for that. I suppose I'm going to have to tell you something now. So I will. You can be assured I'm going to. I just don't know what. Let's see. Why don't we talk about this? So here's what's coming up this next year. Cannabis moment. DEA tells Congress it has final authority on cannabis, regardless of health agency Schedule 3 recommendation. Seems to me like the thought was that it was backwards, but the DEA is telling lawmakers that it reserves the final authority, but okay, to make any scheduling decision on cannabis following a review, regardless of what the DOH and the HHS recommends. In a letter, they gave a general overview of the scheduling process that was initiated. That started with a scientific assessment from HHS. Okay. And they reportedly advised that they wanted cannabis to go from 1 to 3. So then once HHS made its recommendation in August, DEA conducts its own review. And then DEA has the final authority to schedule, reschedule, or deschedule. So DEA is now conducting its review. I suppose the question that I want to know is like, so when? When would you be... When would you be done then? When would you be done? That initial letter also criticized the limitations of simply placing cannabis in Schedule 3 as opposed to fully removing the plant from CSA control. Let's see. While Congress works to send the president boop. Yeah, many observers expect it to wrap up ahead of the November election. So that's a ways. They still know little about the justification for its recommendation that it be moved. I'd be interested to hear that too. Apparently, the governors of 6 U.S. states sent a letter to Biden calling on the administration to reschedule cannabis by the end of last year. So that's last year. This is a new year. Happy New Year, by the way. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson gives everybody a big fat Happy New Year. Get on your Happy New Year jackets because it's getting happy cold here year. Yeah, I'm pretty good at rhyming. I'm real good at rhyming. I'm so good at rhyming, actually. People pay me absolutely nothing. I'm so good. But anyway, I overtalked my stuff. Let's get cruising. Here's a new song. John Schofield, Not Fade Away, 95.9. Wow, that ended crazy. I wasn't expecting that. Not Fade Away, John Schofield. And I'm on the metaphorical crack. I don't know what time it is. How come nobody said anything? I played the song about 5 minutes too fast. Normally, I'd be playing it. I would be heading into the song now. But it's a new year, so, new mistakes right here happening right in front of your face. Radio Free Fargo. .org, streaming this madness everywhere in the world. We can get at you with it. 95.9 on your radio dial. If you want to turn a knob for us, we're there too. We're on that knob turny thing or the button pushy thing. It's hard to say what you're doing. I certainly don't know what I'm doing. However, the beauty is I don't need to really. It's just sands in the hand of an hourglass. Feel me? But anyway, you're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Normally there'd be music happening now and then at 420 we would go to this bag of cannabis news I always reference. But again, I just decided to play the song 5 minutes too soon. So now here we are. And I mean, there just isn't anything I care to talk about till we get to that point. So I'm going to do this right here. Hey, programming at 95.9 FM, Radio Free Fargo, KRFFLP FM is being run and written by Drummer's Journey. Drummer's Journey offers percussion instruments, hardware, electronics, accessories, and more. They have full service for drummers, including repair, custom building, and lessons. Drummer's Journey is located at Highway 10 East Mall in Moorhead, Minnesota. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 to 7, Fridays and Saturdays 11 to 5, Sundays noon to 5. For more info, check drummersjourney.com. They have a profile on Facebook. Well, what are we gonna do? I don't know. I think we're gonna segue right into the show. Let's just do it. We're gonna do this. We're early. It's New Year's.
Hey, it's Phil from Canna-Heads. Like this episode? Hit that like button. And if you enjoy the show, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on cannabis news, local and national. Listen live on 95.9 in the Fargo, North Dakota region from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. For our non-Fargo region friends, you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Now enjoy the show.
And howdy. Hey there. It's 420 in a while. Well, we're going to talk about the first round of cannabis news in the year 2024. It's the year shut the door in 24. That's the motto for me. It's already 4 days into it. The 4th day of Jan 2024. And so we'll see what happens with cannabis. Like I said, all projections say legislation is going to hem and haw about safe banking. Even though we're going to talk about, there was a cop shot in Oregon trying to protect a dispensary. And we're going to talk about that. But again, there's just safeguards that get lost when there isn't a federal kind of encompassing kind of procedure that, I guess for lack of a better word, protects a little better. Because when you remove these safeguards, then they become vulnerable, and then they like to use that. Well, if you played by the rules, then you would we wouldn't need you either, But anyhow, again, Minnesota is working on getting things ready. They claim it's going to take them a whole nother year to have stores. So we'll see. Kentucky's got a neat thing. We're going to talk about that in just a second. This is the new me setting it up. The early me has time to preface things like all the professionals do it, because I'm the professional. And so, the professional. I don't know if there's anyone that I would know that's any more professional than me. But anyhow, I don't even know what that means, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have to probably break out my big, long Wilson Means Business coat next week, which is kind of wild because we're already kind of ankle deep into January of a new, fresh year, and we're complaining about it being 20 above, being cold, which kind of scrambles my brain egg a little bit, but whatever. Okay. Let's start with this. This will be fun to talk about. This is from Ganjapreneur. Oklahoma introduced secret shoppers to help regulate medical cannabis industry. Okay, well, and my first thought is, well, how is that going to help regulate? And they're going to tell us. Under the new law, regulators will anonymously purchase product and have them tested by a lab. And that's interesting. I wonder if they'd go in and they may go into liquor stores and just crack open a something and test it. And it's whoa, there's arsenic in here. What? Oh, these are a lot of metal in this one. What are them flakes in there? Aluminum? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we could do some secret shopping in the booze stores too. And that's a good thing. Maybe mold don't grow in alcohol. Maybe it's some of that dirty, nasty schnapps. Okay, where are we? I'm getting sidetracked. So under an Oklahoma state law taking effect this week, they can now utilize a secret shopper. So they send it. Okay, so the new law requires regulators to send at least 50 secret shoppers. Not to be confused with Secret Santa, just so you guys know. This is different. Per year to license retailer to anonymously purchase medicinal cannabis and then have the products tested by a lab. Constituents, people in the industry, people outside of the industry, they wanted some checks and balances in place. Okay. So the bill was passed, signed into law, but it didn't take effect until, later last year. Let's see. Cannabis regulators said they were seeking to revoke 165 cannabis cultivation license for failure to post signage on their properties as required by state law. And that's, because you don't have the sign or you don't want it up there. I don't know. I don't know, but check this out. Cannabis moment. New Kentucky bill would legalize cannabis use, possession, and home grow, but not sales. Well, man, that kind of sounds like America right there. If you ask me, that sounds like America. As Kentucky works to implement the recently, it looks like America over there. Hey. All right. As Kentucky works to implement a recently passed medical cannabis policy, a lawmaker filed legislation this week that would end all penalties, including arrest for simple possession and use of recreational by adults 21 and older. It would also allow adults to grow a small number of plants at home for fun. Commercial sales would remain prohibited. So, she says your typical rhetoric for why we shouldn't have it legalized. Under the new proposal, adults could possess up to an ounce, 5 grams of cannabinoids, some products with 8 and 9, and 5 or a few plants. Possession above that would be a Class B misdemeanor, up to 45 days in jail, which sounds pretty steep. Growing more than 5 plants would be a felony, climbing to a Class C if it was bigger. So let's see, $1,000 for each plant with foliation, which exceeds a personal use quantity. Foliation. You're guilty of extra foliation, sir. You're going to have to come with me. Man, you go down hard for exfoliation. I mean, what are we even talking about? What are these, scrub brushes? All right, I'm getting hung up on the particulars here, but I think I'm just making good radio, they'd say. Whatever. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. First show of the year. I'm early. I'm early. I mean, I might not be making up for it. Hey, if you could be like that, why don't you come a little later? Anyway, this is from High Times. Hemp-based battery maker aims to hire laid-off Energizer employees, which, what a crazy burn. It's like, that's just wild when they do that. And there's somewhere else they're doing it too. I can't remember where. They're paying them more, and I forget what's, like something was closing. I covered it. I can't remember. I do so much covering, There's so many news things that I cover. All right. Nothing outlasts the Energizer, but hemp may do exactly that as a hemp-based company opens shop in Wisconsin. Company in Wisconsin and their goal is to hire former employees to Energize. Portage, Wisconsin makes batteries out of hemp instead of graphene. Earlier this month, they acquired 17 acres to develop its battery plant. Focus on industrial batteries, hemp carbon batteries. So, let's see. He says it's an ideal place to build a new renewable energy power plant. There must have been Energizer batteries over there. Obviously, having 400 to 500 trained employees that are knowledgeable in the battery makes that area seem right for a new battery company. So, I mean, so what are we talking about? There are a bunch of... all right, we're learning. Portage Mayor Mitchell Craig is cautiously optimistic after Energizer decided to leave Wisconsin. Oh, and then they left all these employees. Well, that kind of stinks, Energizer. I mean, your bunny's smarter than you. I don't know. The bunny's probably dumb. Well, it's probably as smart as a bunny can be. However smart that is. I think like I've tested several bunnies' IQ over the years, and I mean, it's like 7. Okay, what are we talking about? So it's going to be huge for the city of Portage. The Energizer plant employed 225 people, and this plant will have 600. Wisconsin Battery Company will focus development on the production of hemp carbon batteries. Well, if that's even real, that's stinking awesome. Let's see. Hemp advocates say that hemp batteries last 8 times longer than lithium batteries, outperforming graphene for a fraction of the cost. Battery makers process hemp's woody pulp into carbon nanosheets. I mean, like, really, carbon nanosheets, right? All right, but that is pretty cool. And that's kind of wild. You go, oh, there's an Energizer company that moved and they laid off all these people. Hey, we're going to make a battery. Why don't we just go there? and swoop up all these ex-battery making people to make our batteries. Wow. It's just like magic. Anyway, this is from Ganjapreneur. Police officer killed while responding to burglary at cannabis business. An Oakland police officer was recently killed while responding to a burglary at a cannabis business, highlighting how federal inaction on cannabis policy has put workers, the general public, and law enforcement in greater danger. And again, that's what I'm saying. They're allowing it, but then they're not protecting it. But it's like, I don't know, there should be some federal something in place. And I don't know, we can hem and haw about the whys, the conspiracy. Is it money? Is it the pharmaceutical companies? Is it the lobbyists? Whatever, But it just seems to be, there seems to be something that, has got it hemmed up, because it doesn't make sense to not just be like, well, to remove these issues, especially safe banking, I mean, you're forcing these guys to hold cash in neighborhoods that ain't great. I don't know what you're saying. You're like, well, it's tough love. I just want you to feel the pinch of doing it because I don't want you to do it. I don't know. So Officer Lee, originally from Vietnam, moved to Oakland, became a citizen. He graduated. Let's see. It marked the second burglary incident at the same location within just 4 hours. So the shooting has once again brought to the forefront a critical issue concerning the federal status of cannabis. So that's the thing. It sure is. What else? What else do we got? Oh, so check this out. Okay, this is from Cannabis Moment. South Dakota bill would force and I don't even know what I think about this. South Dakota bill would force medical cannabis dispensaries to warn patients about federal gun ban for people addicted, and that's in quotes, to cannabis. Okay, South Dakota Republican lawmakers have filed a bill to mandate that state licensed dispensaries, they post a sign at their business warning patients that federal law prohibits consumers from possessing firearms. So I don't know. The legislation led by this guy and that guy and 10 other guys comes at it, and maybe there's some girls in there, I don't know. Comes at a time when the constitutionality of the underlying federal gun ban for cannabis consumers is being challenged in multiple courts. And that's why. So I mean, I don't know why we'd be writing bills, but here we go. Under the bill, South Dakota medical cannabis dispensaries would need to post at each entrance to their business and at each register or point of sale a sign that reads, and I quote, warning, federal law prohibits the possession of a firearm by certain individuals who are users of or addicted to marijuana. Now, what's interesting is the wording here, just a little bit. Right? Because what are they saying or not saying? Let's go. Certain individuals who are users of the substance or addicted to the... So just everybody, right? Everybody, right? Why are we... What are we talking about? And that whole addicted, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. So the measure states that the warning requirements would be suspended if the Attorney General certifies that federal law no longer prohibits the possession of a firearm. See, and that's what I'm saying. You take the sign down. So it's like, here's what I don't understand. And here's what's kind of, I don't know, trippy, really. You get the warning before what? Before you get caught in admission? Why are they warning you first? Right? Like, before you make this purchase, I want you to know. But why are they so insistent? Why do they protest too much? Because let's just say, well, whatever. Okay, so it says it, but it's not. Where's the trap? Right? How does this come to fruition? How do you bring accountability to this warning? How do you police it? Will they run your name through a thingy and do your matchy to your license, your permit or gun or purchases? I don't know. It sounds crazy to me. So, anyway, there's other things. Federal law no longer prohibits... anyway. Until then, businesses that fail to post a notice... But what's the point? I mean, who cares? You're just posting a notice. See, when you don't read articles, you find out more. So, if they don't post it, they're subject to a civil penalty of $250. The lawmakers also filed a separate bill that would require state application forms for cars that contain a notice of the federal restrictions. Okay, and then patients would have to sign to specifically acknowledge the warning. So, man, and just the reasonings just really make me mad, because I mean, I would say in a lot of cases, certainly of vets, and they have firearms, they know how to use firearms. We certainly trusted their safety with firearms in way higher stressful situations, protecting our freedom. To then think that we know best about the handle and care of a firearm by one of these individuals boils my hind end. So when they say stuff like they're doing it for that people who use cannabis and possess guns pose a unique danger, which means they're just making up words, essentially, akin to permitting people with serious mental illness to own firearms. What? I mean, I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't like it. So boo on South Dakota. However, South Dakota are circulating signatures, FYI. So if you're in South Dakota, you want to get with it. South Dakota for Better Marijuana Laws is the group doing their thing. So again, you're listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday, get in here, 4 o'clock. 4:20, open a big fat bag of cannabis news, and we're doing that right now. It's exciting. And then I'm out of here. Stinky Arts Music Mart to pull in. And then it's the mixtape, and then Artemis Bloodshine wraps up your Friday. Because I'm an idiot. I don't even know what's going on. It's not Friday. It's Thursday. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who cares? I don't care. But anyway, Missouri police can't use cannabis as odor as basis of vehicle or property searches under new bill. Lawmakers pre-filed a bill that would prevent police from using smell as the sole basis of a warrantless vehicle or property search. The one-page measure says that the odor alone shall not provide. See, and I'm kind of interested, like, why? Like, because, I mean, and I'm just devil's advocating here. But I would think the smell is exactly what you would use as a basis. Just in my head, you smell what you're there to bust. Why wouldn't you go, oh, I can smell what I'm here to, say they can't have? Where, like, the bird would be on you to keep the smell down, bruh. So it's kind of weird. I'm all for, it not being reason alone. I am. But, I mean, I just don't understand why that, I don't understand. I mean, I get it that it allows you essentially, to be stinky. And stinky's gotten me in a lot of trouble. I mean, stinky will get you in trouble. You can say no, but your body says yes. It's one of those, romantic songs of the late 50s. I don't know, but we're gonna keep cruising around here. What do we got here? Oh, I was gonna tell you guys this is from High Times. Johns Hopkins University spent $10 million this year studying medical cannabis. They're going to look at about 10,000 medical cannabis patients. They're attempting to learn just as much about cannabis and how it can be used as possible. Cannabis is already used nationwide to treat a range of ailments. So, but little is certain about long-term practical efficacy of such treatment. So they're going to look at that. And so then they're going to look at methods of ingestion. So that we'll see how that plays out. And Johns Hopkins, I think they can do it. This is from MJ Biz Daily. Maine authorities charge 5 illicit cannabis grow crackdowns. Now, this is kind of an interesting story. Maine is cracking down, charging these 5 individuals in 2 separate investigations in the past week. In the most recent instance, they responded to a community complaint about these two homes in Belgrade. So they executed search warrants of both residents, found 2,300 cannabis plants, which they seized. Hua Quan Chen and Li Min Chan, I don't know, were charged with illegal cultivation of cannabis and unlawful trafficking in scheduled drugs. Chen is from Massachusetts and Chan's from Florida. I mean, I don't want to... Sounds like they might be from China. It's funny because in another instance, the Kennebec County said it responded last weekend to a tip that someone was being held against their will at an address in the town of China. According to... I mean, is there a town in Maine called China? That's in... What? So anyway, when they came to respond to this being held against their will, they didn't find anyone in trouble, but instead discovered an illicit commercial cannabis operation. So they seized 970 plants and a large collection of seeds. So that's interesting. It sure is. I mean, and apparently that sort of stuff is happening. They've been cracking down with a lot of, I guess, Chinese farmers growing this cannabis illicitly. So I don't know. I have no idea, but I do know that it'll be interesting to see how things go here in the year of 2024. I mean, North Dakota might even have, I suppose we could have some stuff too. Yeah, we'll have to see, huh? We'll have to see. Well, while I'm waiting for this, I guess our computer is still in the old year and not in the new year. Programming on KRFF 95.9 LPFM is being underwritten by Rough Cut Social. They are Fargo's ultimate entertainment destination for axe throwing. Enjoy fun with family and friends, a stellar team building excursion, or book your party. Rough Cut comes complete with a full beer, wine, and soda bar for your perfect time out. They're located at 1100 NP Avenue, Suite 102 in Fargo. Check out Rough Cut Social for more info. Well, I don't know. I do know what's love got to do with it. Who needs a heart when whatchamacallit is something? So that's all I got for you. I'm trying to get this page up so I could, say a few more things, but I'm starting to think it's not going to work. Yep, they're hitting me with a cloud flare. Whatever that means. So we're going to play some music. This here is brand new Xanadu. Papadosio. Wow. Xanadu for you, my friend. KRFF 95.9, RadioFreeFargo.org. Streaming everywhere you are. We can get into your ear hole, and we love to do it here at the best independent radio station in the world, as far as I am concerned. Stinky Arts Music Mart, After Me, mixtape of Artemis Blood Shrine wraps up your Thursday. Don't forget other days of the week, because they exist, and stuff comes out of here on those days. So educate yourselves on the benefits of cannabis so you can educate others on said benefits. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit, and I show him props every Sunday. Antioch Church, 417 Main Avenue. Come on through. 10 a.m. recovery. If you've got issues putting a monkey, kicking a monkey, hiding the monkey. Okay, I'm done. We might have something for you. Again, I'm going to shoot out of here a little early. I don't know. I am, I guess. So you guys be good to yourselves. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. Black Cottage Alchemy, 1,200 mgs of CBD, locally grown hemp wrapped up into some colloidal and a bunch of smoothie, rubby stuff on yourself. So thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show. Again, After Me is Stinky Arts Music Mart. I'll be back next Thursday. I'm going to scoot out of here a few minutes early. You guys are great. Happy New Year again. And I'll keep you guys posted as we go through this year as to, what's the deal with cannabis? I don't know. Am I right? Anyway, I'm out of here. You guys are great. I'll be back next Thursday. David Allen, Judgment Day. Peace.